We're talking about a spotter and what a spotter is. For myself, the first thing I thought about was weightlifting. I didn't lift weights, but there was a point in time where I my friend's a CrossFit coach, and we would go to his house and do some what do you call it, exercise, whatever it is, and he would spot me on the bench or whatever. But his role is to make sure that when something goes wrong or starts to go wrong, he comes in and he steps in to help lift me up. Normally at the end where he knows I'm about to die. That's what it seems like. Mm-hmm. He doesn't usually come in as I lift the bar off of the holder, but he comes in when he knows that I'm about to fail. Talk to me about a spotter, man.
Yeah, so going into the second section of chapter 1, I wanted to really so I played football, high school, a little bit of college, and we lift a lot of weights, right? And so part of training, and there's different kind of spotters, man.
No, different kind? What do you mean?
You have the guy who's not paying attention.
That's
you have the guy who wants to show off and do all the work, basically acting like he's helping, but he's just showing that he could pull it up. Yeah, it's like, come on, man, I'm the one lifting. Yeah. And then you have the guy who pushes you to your limits.
Hey, come on, man, the true spotter.
Yeah, the true spotter. So I know we've all gone. Those who've lifted weights and had teammates with you and spotters, that's what it is. And nowadays, equipment, they have different tension things that spot for you, right? And so the whole point of the spotter in lifting weights is to maximize your opportunity of growth in your muscle, whatever you're trying to do when you're growing, right? Because the way a muscle, man, I don't know all the science behind this, but the way I understand it is a muscle needs to go through that stress in order for it to grow. So you lift weights, you have a spotter there to help you go past a limit. And what that means is you can't carry anymore, maybe a little bit, but not enough for the full weight, but he kind of helps you still bring it up, right? And then that's what a spotter is. So I wanted to really, bring that into the work world, right? As an entrepreneur, and you're asking me climbing mountains. I never actually climbed. Well, yeah, I did climb. Yeah, rock wall.
Rock wall.
Well, when I say rock wall, not like the fake kind you put on. It was a mountain wall with rocks, but that's something. I shared stories in the book, just little, stories of me climbing. I liked climbing when I was young, and so. One, I did it a few times where, I was with my mom, my dad, and there was one in particular, though, in the book that just, it was so dumb. I forget how old I was, but I had to be like 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about your height. I was like, wait.
I was like 5 foot, 6 foot. No, I was young, man. I shouldn't have been climbing. So my father, my dad, he used to climb as a hobby. Like he had the gear, the ropes, so they would like anchor at the top of the mountain and throw the gear over, go back to the bottom and climb and do it safely, right? Nowadays on YouTube and stuff, you see these guys, man, they be climbing like he wasn't like that, right? But he did it in enough that it was there was, you had to be safe
for sure.
Yeah. So and just watching your dad climb like that, and I like climbing too, right? So I knew just from my experiences of climbing before, they've always kind of I never got hurt yet, right? So I just felt like, I'm gonna climb too. So he was climbing. I forget, he might have been 90% of the way up. I forget, I don't even remember, but I just started climbing like they were. Yeah, and I think I went up like 50 feet, man.
That's crazy.
Maybe more. And I was getting up there.
Was no one did no one see you?
I don't know, man, what was going on. I think because he was climbing, and I don't know.
They probably thought he was with
I don't know if he had one of his friends or my mom. I can't remember who was there. And I'm not trying to say there was, I wasn't being watched, but I wasn't, obviously. And then there I was, man. I was just climbing away, looking up, and I was doing good. And then it came to a point where I looked down and I freaked out, and I just started crying like a kid would, and I'm just holding on for my life, and I probably could have kept going and would have been fine, but I think I realized how high I was. I didn't realize like I could fall and die, which I would have.
Yeah.
I just realized like I'm not used to being this high, right? So it just felt scary. And my dad, he heard me crying, went boom, came down like Spider-Man and grabbed me. Just did his little thing, and he grabbed me, and then they got me down to the ground, and carrying on. I still kept climbing and kept doing things. But there's this second story where I was climbing a tree, and some neighborhood kids threw something at me, and I fell down, and I actually broke my arm and went unconscious. And it was kind of one of those moments where I realized, oh, I can get hurt from climbing. And so I shared those stories in the spotter section just to know, like, I realized something about myself, that my parents, when climbing and a lot of different things in my life, they always gave me a sense of encouragement that I could do and go beyond what your regular standard of things were doing, especially my mom. My mom used to always like just pour encouragement into me and speak life into me. And so if you're a parent out there and you have kids, man, it's powerful to constantly speak,
come on,
the stars and planets, and they'll land on the moon. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I really, really, really believe in my heart I could become president because of my mom, right?
Hey,
so,
shouts out to mom, man.
Yeah, so
come on.
I'm not running for president or any of that kind of stuff, but I have a belief system in me that I can do anything I put my mind to.
Let's go. That's
and so with that, though, and that encouragement, and then that safety net, even climbing the wall, and feeling like I could climb a 100-foot wall at 5 years old without safety gear. My dad was still there to save me, and so just realizing that in life, I've always had this teaching of and this understanding of having a spotter in my life, feeling like I can do things that are crazy, but always having that comfort zone, of holding me. But God had to show me that without my parents around and I'm by myself, that not that I can't do these things, but there are situations where I can really fall and hurt myself really badly. And so through that little sharing of stories, I share that to say that how important it is to understand having God in your lives as a spotter and not trying to navigate this world without him, because it's not always about climbing the mountain. It's about, if you fall, do you want to fall knowing your dad's there to save you and hold you, or you want to fall completely to the ground, where I broke my arm and became unconscious as a 10-year-old. So that part of the story, I really wanted to connect the dots of how important it is to have a spotter there. And what I mean by that is just the builder of all things, God himself, just having him with you in your journeys of life, in your journey of business, and your journey of things. And it's okay to have that feeling like you can do anything you put your mind to, but
confidence,
that confidence to just go out and do, but knowing that you got to do it with him there, and so we're human, and there are days we're going to fall, and not, you've gone on hikes, you're climbing up certain trails and you slip and fall. Sometimes there's a rock there you didn't see, or a root, and so that's just part of the journey. But just knowing you have a spotter there, even more so, I know I can get to the end and get there correctly. So
there's we talked about off camera, but there's one part of your book where it says I think you don't, what was the word, like the spotter, you don't realize how the spotter works in some ways sometimes, because it's not going to look like what you think looks like spotting, right? We talked off camera about just kind of my situation at home, where the builder of all things just kind of showed up in ways that I just never expected it to be. Where we were supposed to be on a negative, he brought us even more than what we should have owed, or you know what I mean, which is a spotter for us in that situation. I was given the opportunity to speak at our church a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about intimacy, and to have an intimacy with your father or God. My intimacy, there was a portion where I talked about what intimacy looked like, and it looked like dependency on the Father. And there's a verse where it says, it says, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only see what his Father is doing. For you to see your dad climbing the wall, you're like, hey, I can do that too. Like, he's doing it. He knows what's going on. And I say that because, you know, when something goes wrong in your life, knowing that the spotter is there, he's done it before. And we talked about this. We have the receipts. He's done it. He's spotted us before. He can do it again. He's gonna do it again. So like, knowing that he has our back, even in the most like crucial situations, like that's our dad, like, or that's my dad. He knows how to climb. He's been at the top. He knows how to get there. He knows what resources it takes, or he knows all the crevices of the rock, the wall. He knows the quickest way to get to me, and he knows how he can do it. And like you said, he just like when you were crying, he heard your cry, and just like Spider-Man swooped in.
Yeah, and you nailed it, man. It's like he used my true parents to show me his parenting. Yeah. You know, and so you nailed it, man. It's God, you know, it's like that encouragement through life. He gives me that confidence to just go. And so I want to just encourage entrepreneurs. I want to encourage business owners. Like, if you start with the foundation of knowing God is there as your spotter, you know, you're going to climb that mountain, and he's got you. So the thing of why I really wanted to like talk about the spotter is when you have that third spotter I was talking about, the one that really wants you to grow in your strength. And so when you're pushing the weights, man, and you do 12 reps, come back, do 12 reps, but you're at that very heavy weight, you know, that's beyond what you actually can really hit. And all of a sudden you're just pushing, and you got 3 more reps, right? And you start shaking, and you're just feeling life's weight on you, and you're just pushing, and, you know, you got bills to pay, and you got, you know, people calling, you got, you know, your spouse, your partners, like not understanding decisions you're making, or, you know, you're just feeling all this weight pushing against you, and you just want to do everything you can to get it up, and you're just pushing, and then your car breaks down, and then, you know, you're just like, and you just can't, and it's coming, and it's starting to go towards your chest, and the weight of this bench press is starting to press on you. But guess what? The spotter is holding it, but he's allowing you to feel this pressure. He's allowing it, but he's not going to let it crush you. And he's just holding it. And you just like, man, I got 3 more reps, you know, like, you know, and then finally, what does a true spotter do? He goes, come on, man. Come on, push. And he's telling you, and he's encouraging you now, like, I got you. Remember, I'm here. And for me, I know the spotter's there. So I'm still pushing. I'm not giving up, because I know his hands are pushing. I could feel it. And all of a sudden I'm going numb, but I feel it going up still, and I'm still shaking, and my body's getting numb, but I know it's going up. And all of a sudden I get it up. And then he's like, all right, we got 2 more. But what happened was I was pushed beyond my limits. I didn't collapse. I didn't fall. I didn't crush. And I'm about to grow.
Let's go.
My muscles just got stronger. And if you ever lift weights, or if you did the bench press and you go through that, and every day, month goes by, 2 months, what was once 250 became 300 pounds. What was once 300 pounds became 350. What was once 350 became 400. And you just start becoming a beast. And not only is the weight numbers going up, but your chest is starting to grow. You know, you're starting to build up. And what's happening now is, like, when people saw you as a skinny looking dude, now I see you as this rock looking dude. You mean, even your presence is a light to people. Not saying that our physical presence in the physical world, we want to look big, but what I'm saying is, when you're growing with God and your muscles are getting stronger, even your physical light is shining, you know? And so the growth isn't necessarily about strength. It's also about your light getting brighter and brighter and brighter because you're so forth your walk with God is getting stronger. Your faith is getting stronger. The way you're operating, the way decisions you're making, and the things that you're doing, people are starting to see this.
Yeah.
And so that's all because of the spotter, ain't because of me.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the spotter, I wouldn't be able to get from 250 to 300. I wouldn't have been able to get to 300 to 350. I would still be just doing 300, maybe get to 305 on my own strength, right? But because of the spotter and the things we go through and overcoming them with him there and trusting that he's there to push even harder, we grow at that pace. So